Is Multiverse X a better investment than ICP? On this channel, we're just trying to find the assets that are going to give us life-changing returns. Totally objective, analyzing these assets from the tokenomics perspective, from the adoption perspective, and from the technology perspective. Because if you get all three of those things right, life-changing returns are almost guaranteed in the crypto space. As emotional as people love to be in this space, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because you can easily sell your assets and buy something else, right? So if I ever do find in my research some asset that excites me, I'll happily start stacking it, right? Zero emotion in it. The whole purpose is life-changing returns. So let's start with price action, not the most important metric, but we can just see who's kind of winning the short-term game, right? In the last year, Multiverse X is up 2%. But in the last year, the internet computer is up 160%. So in the short term, much more demand for the ICP token. So ICP is winning the short-term price game. What about tokenomics, right? The EGLD token has a 31 million max supply. ICP has no max supply. And so on the surface, you would think the EGLD token has better tokenomics, but you really have to dive into these assets to understand them. For instance, ICP can go deflationary, right? Similar to Solana, similar to Ethereum, the more it's used, the more the network is rewarded by token burns, meaning tokens are taken out of the total supply forever, meaning the token gets scarcer and scarcer. So the more it's used, the more deflationary the token gets. ICP this year became deflationary. Being actively deflationary because of usage is a lot better than just having a fixed supply. So here's the massive spike in cycle burns in ICP. It did go deflationary during this period, and that's just from one layer two building on top of it, the build on blockchain. That's just from one blockchain. So I'd rather have an asset that can be deeply deflationary as adoption picks up than an asset with a fixed token supply. Now with EGLD though, even though it's slightly inflationary, getting up to that max supply, similar to BTC, fees are also used to provide staking rewards. So as the network is used, stakers get rewarded with fees. And as the sum of fees increases, inflation decreases, with inflation reaching zero if the amount of fees generated from usage of the network exceeds the minimum guaranteed rewards. This creates the premise for a transition to a deflationary monetary system. ICP already became deflationary this year. It's not there currently, but it already happened this year, and it's expected to continue as growth continues. So while EGLD tokenomics are solid, one issue with them is that there is only 4 million more tokens to be rewarded within this ecosystem. So crypto is capital. Every single successful crypto project on the planet has incentivized building on their ecosystems with crypto rewards through inflation. Bitcoin incentivizes miners. Ethereum incentivizes staking holders. Same with Solana, same with ICP. Multiverse X only has 4 million more tokens to go before they hit their max supply. So what we don't want to see with some of these assets is see the price decline, the available supply to incentivize building to also decline, which would starve the ecosystem of capital. And when ecosystems start getting closer to that, they start launching more tokens, they start diluting the ecosystem, and it hurts the tokenomics. So it's very complicated to really understand the philosophy of tokenomics and how important it is. But I would have to give the edge to ICP only because it became deflationary this year. Would much rather have an actively shrinking supply than a supply that's capped, and that could also potentially limit growth in the ecosystem. So ICP wins the tokenomics game. Now, obviously, if it didn't hit deflationary status in the middle of this crypto winter, and if it wasn't expected to be deflationary in the future, I would say EGLD probably wins on tokenomics alone. But currently the trend for ICP is massively deflationary. Now let's talk about technology, right? There is a cult following of EGLD. Why is that? Well, we have Justin Bonds, who did come out and attack ICP. And in a previous video, I did respond to his attack on ICP. And his main criticism of ICP was that their marketing isn't great. The way they present themselves isn't great. But he didn't necessarily say the technology itself was bad. But he is a believer in EGLD. And he's a professional blockchain researcher. So why is he so bullish on EGLD? What would you say if I told you the most technically advanced blockchain today is from a small team in Romania that raised $5 million in 2019, achieving what ETH gave up on and Near only recently achieved: full execution, sharding, and scalability. EGLD is that chain, and it deserves more of our support. So Justin Bonds believes EGLD has solved the blockchain trilemma. It's decentralized, it's super scalable, it's super fast, and it's super secure. So he believes that EGLD is the most technically advanced blockchain in the world. What about ICP? Again, I debunked his criticisms of ICP in a separate video, but now let's compare ICP to EGLD. What Justin Bonds is saying is that EGLD is from a small team in Romania that raised $5 million in 2019. ICP has 1,000 plus research and development effort years, meaning a different team would have to spend, if not 1,000 years, hundreds of years worth of R&D to compete with ICP. EGLD raised $5 million in 2019, was able to create a fast, scalable blockchain. ICP spent hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars creating their world computer and over 1,000 plus research and development years. So when you think about which one has a bigger moat, which one can compete easier, obviously the one that took way more resources and billions of dollars to create. Because if you were to go out and try to create a competitor to ICP, it'd be very, very expensive and very difficult. You need a team of hundreds of people putting in years worth of R&D to create ICP. You would not necessarily need that to create EGLD. So right there, that speaks to the quality of the technology. So EGLD is a very fast layer one blockchain, much better technology than Ethereum, much better technology than Solana. But let's compare it to ICP. What is the internet computer? The internet computer enables you to build anything without traditional IT and big tech. It hosts decentralized serverless compute that's simpler, immune to cyber attack, unstoppable, and controllable by decentralized autonomous organizations. You can create Web3 social networks and media, socialify, games, multi-chain dApps, AI, or an enterprise app. The internet is evolving. So you don't need big tech to use ICP. You can put pictures, videos, entire companies on the blockchain. So on the technology front, you really can't compare EGLD to ICP because you can't put pictures, you can't put videos, you can't put an entire company's data operations. You can't put artificial intelligence on EGLD. You can do that with ICP. When you can attach an entire company's tech stack to a tamper-proof blockchain, it cannot be hacked, right? It is immune to cyber attacks. So we're solving a multi-trillion-dollar cybersecurity problem with ICP. So it's just different. EGLD does beat Solana, does beat Ethereum, does beat a lot of these layer one blockchains. It does not beat ICP because ICP is much more than a scalable layer one blockchain. Now let's talk about adoption and the fact that ICP doesn't need big tech, but these other blockchains do need big tech does speak to the power of the technology and the superiority of the technology. Multiverse X's EGLD token rallies on partnership with Google Cloud, right? So this might be what people point to, but the fact is Google Cloud isn't paying Multiverse X for use of its blockchain. Developers of Multiverse X are paying Google Cloud for use of Google Cloud because they need Google Cloud. So it's not exactly a two-way partnership. Sui blockchain and Google Cloud team up to drive Web3 innovation. These are scam headlines. So the developers on Sui, the developers on EGLD have to pay Google Cloud for their computing power. Developers on ICP don't pay Google Cloud. There's hardware that's been created specifically for the internet computer blockchain that is governed by the internet computer blockchain, and that eliminates the need for big tech cloud computers, right? So now we're starting to talk about adoption, right? So Google Cloud is one partnership that EGLD talks about, which I would say is not a partnership at all. That's actually a scam because people that don't understand the space will look at that and say, oh, Google believes in Multiverse. No, Multiverse is a customer of Google Cloud. Similar to this one, Deutsche Telekom enters partnership with Multiverse X to advance Web3 adoption, joins validators board. So it is positive that a multi-billion-dollar company, the parent company of T-Mobile, is validating the EGLD token, but they are also on the Hedera Hashgraph Governing Council doing the exact same thing. They're also on the Fetch AI Foundation Deutsche Telekom, Bosch, and Fetch AI Foundation collaborate to advance AI. So just like Google isn't married to Multiverse X, Deutsche Telekom is not married to Multiverse X. Now, here is a positive partnership for Multiverse X. Earlier this year, the National Institute for Research and Development in Informatics in Bucharest, Romania, announced it will use the Elrond blockchain to develop a decentralized domain system and an NFT marketplace. That is a solid partnership. Romania does have pride in this project. The Romanian government is connected to this project, and that's positive for sure. So let's compare their adoption, their partnerships to ICPs. The United Nations Development Program partners with the DFINITY Foundation to advance digital identity solutions. So we know the world gets more and more digital. We know how important it is in an AI-driven world to verify humanness, to have uniqueness, to tell the difference between a deep fake and not, right? Well, digital identity solutions are a frontier of blockchain technology. The United Nations partners with the DFINITY Foundation to advance digital identity solutions. I would have to give the edge to ICP from a partnership perspective, right? Because the UN is obviously much bigger than Romania, but ICP also does have local partnerships like Multiverse X has with Romania. The DFINITY Foundation announced its partnership with the municipality of Lugano and a $1 million fund for Lugano blockchain startups. Even though their partnerships aren't as big as an Ethereum or a Solana, when comparing ICP to Multiverse X, ICP still has the adoption edge. And besides the massive partnerships with traditional, massive, large organizations, within the Web3 world, we're seeing much more adoption. For projects like Multiverse X and Solana to go deflationary, it would require almost a global scale of adoption because the computing power on the blockchain is so weak. It doesn't actually do that much. It requires way more adoption, right? Millions and millions and millions and millions of people. Solana has millions of active users every single week, right? They're not deflationary. ICP has one blockchain called Build on Blockchain building on top of it, and it causes it to go deflationary. So it doesn't even need as much adoption as these other blockchains because the technology is superior, right? So just a handful of layer 2 blockchains running on top of ICP will cause it to go deflationary permanently. That's going to cause prices to spike. That's going to cause mass adoption. Multiverse X is an extremely fast blockchain, but a fast blockchain that no one uses and $10 will buy you a latte in New York City because there are hundreds of these incredibly fast blockchains. There's only one ICP with 1,000 plus research and development years and hundreds of millions of dollars invested to build, right? And big partnerships and adoption. So just objectively, if Multiverse X was way better than ICP, if it beat on tokenomics, if it beat on adoption, if it beat on technology, I would happily sell all my ICP and buy it. Based on this analysis, it does not beat on any of those three metrics objectively. So that's where we stand with these two assets.